Today, we're going to talk about exotics, specifically the ones from D1 that keep coming back into D2. In general, I'm not against the idea of these exotics making a return of some kind. I do like the nostalgia of them. They were some great exotics, and it's kind of nice to have them back, but I don't like how they're being brought back. The latest batch of old exotics from D1 returning to D2 are being tied to the Forsaken DLC paywall, the Ace of Spades, the Queenbreaker's Bow, the Lord of Wolves, and so on. As much as I like these exotics, and I like that they're back, it feels kind of familiar to me, and it feels like home, I don't feel like I should have had to buy the next DLC just to get them back. Considering how much I already paid for all the D1 expansions and the base game of D1 just to get all these guns and to have all that content, I don't feel like I should have to pay for those guns again in D2. Same for the armor, obviously. And this is not to say that I wouldn't have otherwise bought Forsaken had it not been for these exotics being brought back, because I would have. Gambit is so much fun, the raid looks awesome, and the Dreaming City is so much fun to be in, even in all the different weeks. So there is plenty of reasons to buy the game outside of that, so it's not a deal breaker for me per se, it's not a game breaking issue either. I just wish they hadn't essentially taken away content they had already previously sold us, only to sell it right back to us again later. Personally, I feel like if they're going to be bringing these old exotics back, it needs to be, number one, free for everyone, and number two, in addition to a full, robust catalog of brand new original exotics for just D2. To put this into perspective, out of the 11 exotic weapons that came with Forsaken, 4 of them are from D1. If we go back as far as Warmind, we see that out of the 6 exotic weapons that came out with Warmind, 3 of which is half of them, were from D1. And then in Curse of Osiris, they had 5 new exotic weapons, 2.5 of which came from D1, and I'm saying 0.5 by the way, for those of you who don't understand, that's for the Crimson, because the Crimson was based so heavily on the Red Death, honestly, it's exactly the same thing, but as a hand cannon, so I just called it a 0.5 to make it kind of fair. And oddly enough, Vanilla was actually the least egregious on this front, because out of the 18 exotic weapons that they had, only 2 of those actually came from D1. That being said, there are some exotics like the Ace of Spades that are being brought back under a new quest or with new story and lore content that wasn't there in D1. And I do feel like that new story and lore content does deserve to be paid for because that does cost money to make, and that actually is new and original. However, because the exotic itself is not, it presents an interesting situation. For something like this, I do actually understand why Bungie just went ahead and decided to put the Ace of Spades behind the paywall too. And I'm not really that mad about the Ace of Spades in particular. It's more the other ones that are just RNG drops like the Lord of Wolves or the Queenbreaker's Bow. And while I do understand that those exotics should come from a fallen source, there had to have been some way to fairly distribute it to those who did actually play D1 and who then went and bought D2. So here's what I would have done if I was Bungie. First, I would have made all returning D1 exotics that are being brought back as only RNG exotics, so it's going to be like your Service Regime or your Lord of Wolves or Queenbreaker's Bow. I would have made all of those free for everyone who even owns just a base game who played D1. So if you're a returning D1 veteran, all those exotics that are returning that aren't under a quest or new story content would just be in your new loot pool for your exotic engrams for D2. However, for all the returning exotics that are coming back with a new quest or new story content, I would give the old players a choice. Returning players could choose to either get the new quest exotics via RNG drops in their current iteration of Destiny, so if they only own vanilla, they would just be in the engrams, or they could choose to put off getting those exotics and wait until they can actually play Forsaken to play the new quest. Doing it this way is the most fair way without affecting the value of the actual DLC itself. If you liked the video or if you at least agree with me, hit that like button, and if you disagreed, let me know why in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button for more Destiny and other gaming content. Thanks for watching.